Yeah, years ago, I used to work in a fruit market. I used to work in Brentford fruit market. I was a night stand man, So I used to unload all the lorries. I had Colin Crackler work there, and I had a guy called Mickey Null. Their reporters come in about 5, 6 o'clock and do what they got to do, and I was to help them. But at night, I used to go around nicking stuff, and put it in a warehouse. So Colin used to come back and pay me for the stuff what was there. But when I was going to Elsted's in the morning, to have my cups of tea and something to eat, there's a big cafe inside the market, and big old cups and all that, And yeah, it was good in there, mate. And I met a guy called Peter Parker. Well, I was on all the stands, I knew all the stands, but I didn't know a lot of people that worked on them. But Peter Parker worked on this big fruit stand, yeah? So I was talking to him one day, and he went, look, he said, any chance of getting me bits and pieces. I said, what do you want? He said, well, anything you can get really, because I've got a piggery and I want, food for my pigs, and I don't want to start paying silly prices. So I started nicking him all potatoes, vegetables, cabbages, lettuces, anything that I could nick that wasn't fruits that I would put in the warehouse for him, and he would give me a few bob. It was nice. I loved that little job. And then he took me to his piggery in St Albans, I think it was, or Maidenhead, something like that. It was right out in the country, big piggery, yeah? And he had massive sows. He had about 10 sows and a great big boar. The boar was huge, but he was in another part of the field. You couldn't get around him, mate. He was crazy. If he had put your food down, when you put your food down, you had to get out of the pen a bit quick. He'd rip you to pieces. So, anyway, so me and Peter Park become right pals. And I used to go down Southall Market with him, and buy whatever he used to want. Those things he wanted. So I used to go down there. And he met my sister down at Dinah. She's a horsey girl. And them two got involved with each other, started talking, this, that, and the other. Met her down there again. And then she started coming down the fruit market, I was working nights. And in the morning, I'd see her around the coffee shop and all that, And she was with Peter. It was nice. I thought, yeah, it's nice, my sister. But my sister was quite big at that time. She was about size 16, 18, quite big girl, but big, yeah. And, attractive. And she was wrapped around Peter and all that. She loved sitting down with all the men at the table. And she was always around with Peter. And I noticed that she started to lose a bit of weight. And I thought that's good. She's losing it for Peter, Well, Peter, because of the market, people get in the market, they work late time, early in the morning until quite late, so they need something to keep them going. So in them days, it was speed, sulfate, yeah. So Peter Parker used to sell speed, sulfate. It wasn't no big heavy thing. A lot of people in the market used to take it to earn a few bob. The other thing, the other white wasn't about them. If it was about, it was a lot of money, But everybody was on that, everybody. I never took nothing until I was later on, me. But a lot of people was on it. It was only 10 as 5 all the time. That's the sort of price it was. But I noticed my sister losing weight. But not only was she losing weight, she was getting quite aggressive. When I say aggressive, she was always arguing, indoors. She was quite, never really ate a lot. And she was always up and down, running around like a lunatic. And she had a horse. She put a horse in this shed by the side of the house. And it was to go in the garden, which is, I don't know about horses, but she used to take the horse and gallop around the streets with it, And she's a very good horsewoman, you know what I mean? Bet she used to lose a lot of weight, and I was wondering how she lose so much weight so quickly, yeah? And, she's always running around and, very, very bad-tempered, getting very bad tempers. And, that's my sister, and I wonder what was going on. And obviously I found out later that Peter was giving her sulfate speed, and that was what he was doing, and my sister was one of them people that loved men. She liked to be around men. I'm not saying she's doing anything, but she liked to be around men. That was what she done, she had stables and all that. Them stable people were like that, and that's how she was. And then she works in a place called Wolf Stables, which is in Southall, sat by Green. I think it's Normal Green, something like that. And she works this place, Wolf Stables, and across the road was the garage that this guy, Alan, owned. And she was always round there, gallivanting around there, but I thought she was with Peter down the fruit market. So I found it a bit strange that she was also down there and also with Peter, which is, you've got to let a girl do what she's got to do, yeah? But it seemed funny to me the way that the weight she lost, and she was a bit moody. And anyway, so my mum one day, my mum was sort of like screaming the fucking house down for no reason whatsoever. It didn't seem like no one has done nothing, and she was in Dinah's bedroom going mad, screaming at Dinah. You know, and what's wrong? You know what I mean? And my brother Keith said, you know, my brother, we all lived in the house at that time. And my brother Keith was with a woman. He wasn't going to be there long. He was going to go. You know, you could see that Keith was ready to go. And it was me and Jackie and Bobby that lived there. And Dinah, you could see Dinah was going to go at any minute. And I was just in and out all the time, you know. I was always around girls' houses doing my own thing, you know what I mean? But I wasn't on any drugs or nothing, but I was just a thief, you know, getting into thieving, and I loved it, yeah, doing robberies. And then Peter comes to me one day, and he wanted to sell me something, but he was in a bit of a funny old mood, and he was always very, mouth was always going for $1 an hour, you know what I mean? But I knew he sold his sulfate, and I knew, because I used to see people put it in a fag paper and put it in their mouth and drink whatever they was drinking, you know? And I knew he was selling it. So it didn't really matter, but it was a bit concerned when she was losing weight and my mum was going mad. And all of a sudden, my sister stayed away from the market and started putting weight back on. Started to get big again, yeah? And, you know, it happened quick. You know, when I say quick, it happened not overnight, but it happened quite quick. I never see it down the market with Peter, or nothing, yeah? And always, as I said, my mum was screaming and shouting one day, and Dinah was pregnant. Was pregnant with Peter's baby, but she was mucking about with Alan, also in Southall, opposite the Wolf Stables. She was having little games with him. So what was going on? So I went down the market and had a talk to Peter. You know, this is the first time I talked to him about anything like that, about my sister. And I said, listen, did you get my sister on that other stuff we were selling? He went, yeah, we take it. I said, you're out of order. You know what I mean? You don't do that. I'm your mate. You don't do that to my sister. I know I want to kill him for it, you know, really. But I let it go. But later on, we found out that she was pregnant. And then it comes to a thing that he told her that he didn't want nothing to do about the baby because he didn't think it was anything to do with him. She was always gallant about with other people, especially Alan. And, you know, and anyway, big argument comes up. He winds up being his Peter, but Peter's gone, he doesn't want nothing to do with her, the piggy Peter. So the way she's told me about it, and this, that, and the other, well, I went, he's what? He doesn't want to bet. She's on this sulfate, isn't she? She's not now, because she's pregnant. That's why she's got big again. She got really big. And she started having mood swings because she's off this shit, you know? So I got down the market and I smashed him to pieces. I battered him so bad, put him in hospital. She's going to say no. I smashed him. I'm trying to find at the minute, yeah? I'm trying to find out one of the Collinses, if he can find Peter Parker, because I want to know a lot more about it. I want to know about the baby, yeah? But anyway, let's go on about this, yeah? So I bashed Peter Parker up, put him in hospital. She's down it. Dinah's crying because of it. And she goes to hospital because don't forget she's big. And no, she started getting really big. And no one really knew that she was pregnant because she was so big, putting weight on too fast because she's always been that big. And then she was pregnant. That's why my mum was going mad, you know. And evidently, she had the baby. She said she had an abortion. This is where it becomes a bit funny. But now she's with Alan, right? Alan, who's got the garage. But she's seeing Alan, and she's pregnant. And she goes and has the baby. But she doesn't have no abortion because she's too far gone. This is why my mum was screaming and shouting to her, because she was too far gone. She was like 7 months pregnant and she was big. So she had the baby, and the baby was born, and she gave the baby, she didn't want it. She didn't push it aside, you know, and I don't think she even see the baby. It was just she didn't want it and then pushed it aside. Then she started having an affair with Alan. Alan got the garage, and you know, them two is Alan. If you looked at Alan and you looked at my sister, you would never think them two of us a match. Alan was a very dirty guy. When I say dirty, he never looked clean. Even if he washed, he doesn't look clean. He's always working, grafting. His hands are black. He's got a beard. He does, you know, he just looks rough, you know, one of them people. You know, biker, whatever he is, he looked rough, yeah? And he had the garage. She was always in the garage. I used to go around the garage and see her in there with him, you know, but she's a girl and she's my sister, but, you know, and I knew that she was easygoing. I knew that she was easygoing because what I see her as a kid. Anyway, she's had the baby and she did push the baby aside. She then, with Alan, and then she falls pregnant with a baby with Alan. This is my sister. She's one, I don't know, she's with Alan. You know, she wants Alan, she's got rid of the baby, just, you know, push the baby aside because perhaps she's thinking, oh, Alan won't want to know me if I've got another child. So she pushes that child aside. And then she falls pregnant with another child called Lisa. And them two get together. You know, he's got this place in Southall and he wants money, needs money because he's with my Dinah. Dinah's got pregnant by him and he wants the best. That's the sort of guy he was. He wants the best. So he starts doing tax evasion. He don't pay tax or nothing, buying more petrol, not paying no tax. He's not going for the books and I think he gets nicked for tax evasion. Bet he gets big for a big one and then realise what he's doing, buying all the petrol. So he gets put away. I'm not quite sure how long it was, but I met him in the scrubs. When I say I met him, I didn't meet him, I was in the block and I looked out the thing and I see him walking around and I was shouting, Alan! And he shit himself. He's never been in prison, doesn't know what prison's about. You know, the screws, great movement! And I'm shouting at the screws, shouting out and effing about. And then they come up and see me. I wasn't bothered. It wouldn't bother me. I've been in and out of prison my life. I want to bother about him, you know what I mean? Yeah, or whatever, you know. And so I'm doing Big Bird, right? I'm doing a big bit of Bird. I come out and them two are together. Alan and my sister are now together. I believe that at that time, I'm not quite sure if she was in Lingfield. I think she was still around Mum. I'm not quite sure. I know Alan had the shop. He had the shop. That's when he had after that he had Lingfield, yeah. But maybe, I don't know, it's a long time, but she had a baby called Lisa. Later on, it is later on, but I'm going to skip all that now, but I'm just going to tell you quickly what happened. Some people come to my mum's house and they brought a little girl with them. And this little girl wanted to see her mum. And her mum was Dinah, right? And the little girl come to the door and come in. My mum was the sort of person wouldn't shush her away. Come in. She come in and the little girl had some sort of a twitcher to her face like that. Peter had that as well. Peter was always going that bit. She had some sort of twitch. Perhaps it was all the gear that Dinah was taking and that's how it affected the child. But she didn't want to know the kid. she just shushed the kid away. She had Lisa. She didn't want to know the child, and the child was in a bad, crying in a bad way, but she just shushed that baby away and had to go out to the welfare, the woman that brought the child to the house, because by bringing the child to the house, it's a funny old coup that went on, yeah? That's why I want to see Peter Parker, to find out what happened to the little girl. What happened to that little girl? She had a dodgy face, a little bit of a dodgy. What happened to that little girl? She's now must be 40 odd years of age. Peter must know. Peter Parker must know. She's saying she had an abortion. She didn't have no abortion, mate. She never had an abortion. You think my mum would allow for that? You're mad. She would never had no abortion. She had that child. And I remember that woman coming and she had that child. Anyway, she pushed the child aside. That child's gone, yeah? The child come later, I believe, to come and see her. She pushed it away again. She come to fight and found Dinah, and she just pushed it away. And the girl was bigger, girl, 16, 17 years of age. Dinah pushed it away. My Dinah's talks all sweet, but she's not a nice person, believe me. She's quite wicked. So her and Alan are now together. Right? I'm in and out of prison. My sister's not living around my mum's. She's saying that she's with Alan 26 years. And you really think that she come from Lingfield to see my mum regular? She didn't. She never come to see my mum. She was nowhere near to see my mum. She was involved in the horses, driving big lorries and horse boxes everywhere. She wasn't around my mum. My mum never see her. If my mum did see her, I took my mum down there maybe twice. But I also took my mum down when she lived with this Rene geezer, So I'm out of prison. I'm not around home. I'm out doing what I'm doing. I'm not around my mum's. Where was I then? I was in some place, I can't remember where I was. I'm not quite sure, I was with Danny at that time. Anyway, but she's got another child called Lisa. Lisa got bit by a dog. The Labrador. Lisa went for the food. The dog bit her shoulder, chucked her around, and that's it. They got rid of the dog, killed the dog. Died, mate. This is all lovey-dovey with dogs. The dog got shot, which I suppose is the right thing if it attacks a child. So Alan and my sister are close, but Dinah's still doing the same thing as what she always does. She's gallivanting about. She's, and she's very, very argumentative. Everything she does has got to be right. She's very argumentative, my sister, And I don't know if she was on anything then. If she just was, because she lost a lot of weight again. She went down to a size, 14 from 18, 20. She was always big, pump, and that's it, horsey woman, a big girl. And then this because it jumps forward a lot, right? Because when I come out of prison, this had to be 93, 92, 93 when I come out of prison, yeah? The unlicensed fighting was 70s, 78, 79, yeah? Forget about that. This isn't a part of it, yeah? So, about 92, 93, I was involved. I lived at my mum's when I came out of prison for quite a bit of time, and I worked at Crispin's, and I also worked at Lucky's, right? And then, anyway, cut a long story short, I worked there, worked at Lucky's, and I didn't work, this is a long time ago, when I worked at the venue Victoria. That part is all gone, yeah? So anyway, I then get involved when I'm at Lucky's. Someone comes and sees me and gives me a letter, and it's from a guy called Mickey. And I had to meet him down a place called Bootleggers. So I went down Bootleggers, And as I walk down the stairs, there's all these white settees, sofas, with all these girls in it, all these prostitutes. But I'm excited, aren't I? Do you know what I mean? I go through there, and there's Mickey at the bar with his sleeves rolled up. He looks like Don Johnson. Anyway, his sleeves are rolled up like that, and blonde, this brown hair, good-looking guy, good, crisp guy, and sees me and hugs me and all that, Ray and all that, because what I've done for him while I was in Brixton, he took my name and address, my phone number, my mum's, and he got in contact with me, What a nice guy, proper guy, mate. And I went forward. I had everything that I could ever want, I got money, I got everything. So I moved. Then we used to go to Power Joe's, Fidenz's, Bootleggers, Browns, Blondes, all these clubs, And we used to wind up when I was up to Bootleggers, Power Joe's, I met Danny. Danny was on her piano, nicking all the champagne. Me and Danny become good friends. So in such good friends, we went for Denz's. She wanted to come back to my place in Goldhook Road. She stayed the night, and in the morning I'll give her this jacket I had, and I was a bit concerned. I love my jacket, So I said to her, it was a beautiful cashmere jacket that Gucci bought me, So I said to her, what's your phone number? Right, I'm going to get you a cab. What's your phone number? So she gave me the number. Right, so I thought I want to play this game with this girl. Give me the number, we'll get it all down. As she's going out, now she forgot she's talking to me, forgot what she's saying to me. I said, what's your number again? And she gave me another number. I said, come on, guess the right number. So she gave me the right number. And I met her in Kingston, Cobham Road. And I met her mum. Her mum was a short little woman, 5'2", 5'3", absolutely stunning. One beautiful mum. She was so attractive and white gangster, right? And my Danny was beautiful too. So we got together, me and Danny, and I got a flat around the corner, Fairfield West, Fairfield Road, Fairfield West, And I got the top flat, and it was a 1-bedroom flat. So I was involved with a guy called Jimmy Ward. It was Jimmy Ward flat, not my father-in-law's, as my silly sister says. It wasn't my father-in-law's, it was a guy called Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward, me and him worked together. I introduced him to a guy called Nick Gilding. Nick Gilding was involved in stocks and shares and was earning lots of money. I used to work with the other people for Nick. For them, introducing Nick, and I used to work with Nick, taking money to Nick, putting it in the safe and all this. Anyway, that isn't really part. I'm going to get myself deep in this, isn't it? This is lovely, I like it. I like this. So anyway, I get this place, me and Danny are together, and through her mum, her dad's not out of prison yet, Her dad was still in Parkhurst, but through her mum, right, knowing Alan Stanton's wife, Jackie Stanton, my mate Alan Stanton, Jimmy Ward was with Alan Stanton's wife, Jackie, you bet. Anyway, Jackie had a talk with Jimmy, and Jimmy gave me his flat in Fairfield Road, Fairfield West. And it was a 1-bedroom flat, right? So, sorry, it's a little, 1 bedroom, and downstairs and upstairs. So, because I introduced Jimmy Ward to Nick Gilding, doing the stocks and shares, and there was a lot of money involved. I got a lot of money. Every time them two had a deal with the stocks and shares, I was involved. So I got a lot of money out of it. And because I got a lot of money, the flat, I was starting to pay the flat off to Jimmy Ward in bits and pieces. I've spent a fortune doing a big loft extension, massive big loft extension, massive. It was huge, right? Huge. Big walk-in wardrobes, absolutely stunning. Downstairs, I never had it through a big lounge. It was steps going up, and I made it. I spent 140 grand on it. It was beautiful, yeah. Danny, don't forget at the minute my sister. And she goes, forget her. She doesn't know nothing. She wasn't involved. She even didn't come round the place. She can't even talk, right? So then I went outside, done the garden, done everything. It was absolutely stunning, my place, yeah. Massive, massive kitchen. The only place I didn't do was my bathroom and toilet. I didn't get that together. I bet I was going to, yeah. And everything was going well with Nick and Jimmy Ward. Everything was really, really nice. Really nice. Getting lots of money from the other people that I worked with. I was doing enforcer work. I was going all around the gap, selling all sorts of bits of gold and bits of other bits and pieces. I was earning a fortune, a lot of money. I'm not being big-headed, but I could earn 25 grand a week. I was earning absolute fortunes. I was buying this, doing that. Anyway. My sister doesn't know nothing. She's not even around. She's like gone. She's with this guy called Rene, yeah? This guy called Rene, they live, I forget where they lived, I think Crawley. She was with this guy Rene, was a skinny guy from Holland. And she was with Alan when she met this guy. That's how she was. She was with Peter, the piggy Peter, got pregnant and then met Alan, but she was having an affair with Alan while she was with piggy Peter. And then with Alan, she was having an affair with this guy called Rene, yeah? And then Rene got with her. And then she had an abortion with Rene. She had a child and had an abortion. She's had 2 abortions and had 2 kids. That's Dinah. You can't make out. She's so prim and proper. This is Dinah. But what Dinah used to do, right, when she was on the market with Peter, she used to cut herself. And this is what people do when they're shouting for help. She used to cut her legs. She used to cut her legs and do her arms now and again, but cut her legs. It was what she used to do. My mum used to go mad. She used to cut her legs with razor blades. Absolutely nuts. Go forward a bit more. My sister caught septicemia. Anyway, right? She caught septicemia. She said she got it in the stables or something. I don't know. Now they cut her foot. She didn't get septicemia from that. She got septicemia for keep cutting her fucking legs, keep cutting herself up. Come on, a little now. She talks absolute crap. She kept cutting herself. That's why she got septicemia. So anyway, this is. I'm still, because that septicemia thing was later, but I'm going to step. Right. I'm earning lots of money. So I do all my place up in Kingston. My place is the business. I bought my Danny a BMW convertible, like a 3225IR, something, a big, nice convertible, red, right, convertible. Then I bought an Astra, which I was running around with. Then I bought a 402 Mercs, I think it was an SLS Merc. And then I bought her a Porsche, Danny a Porsche. And it was a 2-door Porsche. And she didn't like it because she didn't want a Porsche with the kids. But she only had my son, Sonny, but she didn't want a Porsche. She didn't want it, she didn't feel it was safe. It was too, anyway. So I put it in the garage and it wound up getting smashed up. I got mad in there one day. I got some breeze blocks and I smashed it to pieces. You know, fucking greed, man. And I thought it was a nice present for her. But anyway, it was a Veromatic, very rare, you know, anyway. So, whatever. She lost that Porsche. Then me and Danny used to fight quite a bit. She was on a snozzle, Danny, as well as me. I got on a snozzle and she got on it with me because I was also selling this snozzle shit, yeah? But anyway, I was down, bought a caravan down. Danny said some place. I bought it in Chichester, a place called Church Farm. Built a big caravan there, big 6-berth, beautiful caravan, right by the lake. It was really nice, yeah. You had to walk right around it. It was nice. Me and Tracy had it together. Anyway, I lost that. I didn't lose it. I sold it. I wasn't bothered with it, you know. It cost me a key of the white, but I was getting it so cheap it didn't really matter. Anyway, so I was okay. Everything was okay for me. Danny never come. Dinah, I think, never come round my house in Kingston. She was with Renee. She was in Renee in Crawley, right? She had Lisa with Alan, right? She had Lisa live Alan. She was still seeing Alan, and while she was with Renee. Renee used to bash her up, but I didn't know all this. But I can imagine he must have bashed her up because she is what she is. She was a good time girl. You know, she was with him 1 minute, over to Alan and back again. You can imagine what's going on, yeah? She might have even been seeing Peter, I don't know, yeah? But I know she was seeing Alan, and she was also seeing Renee, because I was to go and see Alan about tyres and bits and pieces and get a few bob off him, yeah? And she was with Renee in Crawley, because I was taking my Jeep down there, and she was down there. But them two didn't get on, and she never told me that he was beating her up. If she'd have told me he was beating her up, I'd have killed him, you know. He was in fucking serious shit. I'd have just gone down with the van, put him in the van with my pals and took him away somewhere and taught me a little lesson. But it didn't happen. So anyway, I'm getting lots and lots of money. There's lots of things happen. Loads of things happen in my life, but that's not part of what I'm talking about. But there's loads of things that happen. Me and Danny are really having a bad time. She's on it, I'm on it. I'm on the Charlie, and I'm also on steroids. And because I'm on both of them, I become a pain in the butt. I really, really did. I know I did, you know what I mean? I was causing someone's problems. I was still doing the enforcer work. I was hurting a lot of people, become very dangerous, and this was it, yeah. But it got to a stage where I left Danny. I, took money, went to Brentford Docks, and that is when I met Ario. She had a pop group called Entice, a big pop group called Entice. Check it out, Ario Odiborier. And I met her, and we got very close. Also, I met a geezer called Compton that got me involved in the crack with Ario. So I was now involved with crack as well. So I was getting out of my nut 24/7. And I had to do things to get money. I had lots of money, but I left a load of money for Danny. What's the point? She had my out. Anyway, she had all the play. Let it all go, yeah? I left all that behind me. Fuck it, you know. I can get money, but I left my pals. I left the people I was with, you know. And then there was a big thing called Operation in your Black Yogurt Knits, right? Anyway, cut that. I then, as I say, lots of things happen. I get involved with this crack shit. I'm doing fortunes on crack. Fucking things are happening for me that shouldn't be happening to me. I'm hurting people 24/7, getting crack, doing this, doing that. And my sister, please, she's wrong, man. She's so out of order to even say that, yeah? Whoever she's saying it with, I know who she's saying it with. Someone's, you know, and I know, this little geezer's behind her, and he's telling her to say this and say that, yeah? But let me tell you something. Never, ever have I kicked my mum out of her house. Never. I've never, ever kicked my mum out of her house. Having parties in my mum's house on crack, are you mad? My mum would bash me up. My mum would phone the police 24/7. Do you really, really think that if I kick my mum out at night time and she's walking the streets and all this, that and the other, that she wouldn't go to Acton police station, which was about 200 yards from our house, and tell them, are you mad that I'm chucking my mum out of the house? Are you silly? Don't you think that my sister would do the same thing? Are they crazy? Do you believe all this shit? You believe that I throw my mum out of the house, smoking crack at crack parties in my mum's house? Are you fucking mad? Are you mad? Are you people out there absolutely fucking mad? To think that I could do that to my mum? To think that I could do that to my mother? Anyway, I then get nicked for a Carphone Warehouse. I'm not living around my mum's house. I'm living in a block of flats right by Grenfell Towers, the block there. I'm living next door to that block, the one that burnt down. They then do me for Carphone Warehouse. I get a load of police uniforms from some people I know, and I do the Carphone Warehouse as police and customs and excise. So I get nicked. I'm on crack. I'm not with my mum's house on crack. I don't have to be with my mum's house. I've got my own place. I've got a flat. Not my own place. It belongs to someone else. Right? But I'm not. What's wrong with I'm. Anyway, my sister is getting information from someone, you know who it is, the little fella, and do that and say that, because they don't stop lying about it. I would never, ever do that to my mum. My mum stood by me when I was in prison. Do you really think that I wouldn't stand by my mum? Anyway, I get an IPP. I then get an IPP and I do 10 years in prison. No one comes and sees me. My mum sends me money, but no one comes and sees me. I then get parole as an IPP. Not parole, but what it is, 10 years I served. I ain't seen none of my family. Maybe I see my kids, Jay and Jamie, once they come over, and I had to go at Courtney. I go at Courtney on a visit. Well, anyway, so I then get released on an IPP. I go to Ealing Hostel. I'm at Ealing Hostel, and whilst I'm at Ealing Hostel, I was there 6 months. And in that 6 months, you've got to find somewhere to live. But because I ain't seen my mum for years and years and years and years, I go to my mum's house. My mum's not very well. So I stay with my mum. I get to my mum's about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I stay there until 6, 7 o'clock, and I've got to come back and sign on and stay the night and do the same thing every day. And then I started going down to a gym in Ealing called Eden's, opposite Ealing Broadway Police Station. Or just down the road, it's a big green building, and it's a basement to it, and I used to go to a gym there called Eden's, and then I used to go and see my mum. But every day I used to do this, 7 days a week, be with my mum, look after my mum. My mum, I owed it to my mum. She looked after me, I look after my mum. Right, now I've just done 10 years, I've got no money. I go and see my mum. My mum knows I've got no money. My mum used to give me a card. Go and get some money out of the bank for yourself. Go and take some money. Go and take 300 quid. Go to there, ATM, put it in, take 300 quid. Next day, 2 days, 3 days later, my mum say, I take the card, go and get some money out there and get me food, crash. I'll come back with big bags of food. My mum said to me that she'd give Dinah 7 grand. Or more than that to buy a car. Don't forget my sister was disabled. Right? She had septicemia. I see her in a bad way, but I ain't said that again. I'm going to leave that out. But she got septicemia. My mum bought her a car. 7 grand I think my mum gave her for the car. And she gave my other sister 7 grand and give my brother Keith nothing and give Bobby 7 grand. That is what my mum, she done. And my mum, I had no money. I had nothing. I just come out of prison. I got no money. My mum used to look after me regular, give me 300 quid, 200 quid. No, I didn't have to nick my mum's card. I was